O weary soul, there are times when silence is not weakness but wisdom, and solitude is not loss but liberation. There are moments when words are wasted on ears that will not hear, and presence is squandered on hearts that do not care. In such an hour, do not fight, do not explain, do not plead. Simply walk away. There are few wounds more grievous than seeing your own words twisted into weapons against you. You speak in sincerity, yet your intentions are misrepresented. You seek peace, yet your words are reshaped into instruments of discord. Those who harbor malice take your honesty and mold it into falsehood, turning your expressions of kindness into accusations of deceit. When you defend yourself, they claim you are aggressive. When you explain, they call you manipulative. In such an environment, where truth is distorted and speech becomes a snare, the wisest course is silence. Not the silence of surrender, but the silence of strength, the silence that refuses to fuel the fire of falsehood. Some hearts are not inclined toward understanding, but toward mischief. They do not listen to discern, but to entrap. No matter how carefully you choose your words, they will extract only what serves their malice. They will dissect your sentences, remove them from context, and scatter their twisted versions like seeds of discord. Such individuals are not seekers of truth, but architects of confusion. Against such, what good is argument? What profit is there in reasoning with those who have already determined to misrepresent you? Their ears are deaf to truth, but their tongues are quick to spread deception. Therefore, silence is not merely an escape, it is a weapon against their schemes. Consider how silence unsettles the schemer. They expect rebuttal, for they thrive on conflict. They are prepared for your defense, for they seek to pounce upon any word that can be manipulated. But when you refuse to engage, when you withdraw from the battlefield of their slander, you deny them the very thing they seek. They cast their snares, but you do not step into them. They prepare their daggers, but you offer no flesh for them to wound. They hurl their arrows, but without words to twist. Their weapons fall useless to the ground. In the stillness of your silence, they find themselves without ammunition, and their plots collapse under their own weight. Moreover, silence exposes the hearts of those who twist your words. When you cease to speak, they have no new material to distort, and their malice becomes evident. If they continue to speak against you, it is now clear that their hostility was never about your words, but about their own bitterness. They can no longer hide behind the pretense of misunderstanding, for there is nothing left to misunderstand. Their accusations reveal not your flaws, but their own character. In this way, silence not only protects you, but also unveils the true nature of those who sought to destroy you. So when your words are turned into daggers, sheath your tongue in the armor of silence. Let the foolish speak until their own words condemn them. Let the slanderers weave their lies until they are tangled in their own deceit. Your silence will be your shield. Your absence will be your defense. And in time, truth will rise without your aid. For words twisted by malice may wound for a moment, but silence in the face of falsehood endures as a monument to wisdom. There are people whose arrogance grows in the presence of others. Your company does not bring them gratitude, nor does it stir them toward kindness. Instead, it inflates their pride, as though your nearness is but a mirror for their own self-admiration. They treat your presence not as a blessing, but as a trophy, a testament to their own worth. They revel in the knowledge that you remain, not out of admiration for you, but out of their own conceit, believing that your presence confirms their superiority. They do not cherish you, nor do they honor your companionship. They simply delight in the power they feel when others orbit around them. Such people thrive on the attention and devotion of others. They feed on admiration, not to appreciate it, but to elevate themselves. Every conversation is an opportunity for them to boast. Every gathering is a stage for them to shine. If you disagree with them, they dismiss you. If you praise them, they drink it in as though it were their rightful due. They do not recognize the value of those who stand by them. for they believe that the presence of others is simply a reflection of their own greatness. They mistake patience for submission, kindness for weakness, and loyalty for servitude. But what happens when the source of their pride withdraws? What occurs when those they have taken for granted no longer stand beside them? This is where the true test of their character begins. When you remove yourself from their grasp, their imagined throne crumbles beneath them. The applause they relied upon falls silent, and the admiration they once took for granted disappears. In that emptiness they are forced to face themselves, not as exalted figures, but as lonely individuals, stripped of the validation they so desperately craved. Absence has a voice that presence often lacks. When you walk away from those who thrived on your nearness, you grant them the opportunity to reflect, to realize, and perhaps to repent. They may not recognize your worth while you stand before them, but they will feel the void when you are gone. The conversations they once dominated will now echo with their own emptiness. The attention they once demanded will no longer be theirs to claim. Pride, which once flourished in the glow of admiration, will wither in the shadow of solitude. Yet not all will learn. Some will rage against the absence, refusing to acknowledge the reason for it. They will blame, they will scorn, they will search for another to replace you, for humility is not easily embraced by the arrogant. But for those who have even a sliver of wisdom, your departure will be a lesson. They will come to see that their strength was never in their own greatness, but in the presence of those they had so easily dismissed. The wise will awaken to their folly, while the foolish will remain lost in their own self-importance. So do not be afraid to leave when your presence only serves to inflate another's arrogance. There is power in silence, and there is wisdom in withdrawal. Let your absence do the work that your presence never could. Let those who once reveled in pride be brought low by the emptiness you leave behind, for in the end absence humbles where presence once fed vanity, and in that humbling truth is revealed. There exists a cruel breed of people who find joy not in your success but in your suffering. They are not moved by your struggles with compassion, nor do they grieve when you are wounded. Instead, your hardships become their entertainment, your sorrows their satisfaction. They smile when you fall, and though their lips may feign concern, their hearts whisper delight at your distress. They do not merely ignore your pain, they revel in it. Every setback you face feeds their pride. Every tear you shed is an unspoken victory for them. Such people are not merely indifferent to your suffering. They are nourished by it. You may wonder why anyone would take pleasure in another's downfall. It is because your pain affirms their superiority. To see you falter reassures them that they are ahead. To see you break convinces them they are whole. Such people are driven by jealousy, by insecurity, by a need to keep others beneath them so that they may feel tall. If you were to rise, their joy would turn to bitterness, for they cannot tolerate a world where you thrive. Thus, when they see you wounded, they see an opportunity, not to help, but to smirk behind veiled words of false sympathy. They will not openly admit their delight in your misfortune, for that would expose their cruelty. Instead, they will mask it with subtle remarks, backhanded encouragements, or indifferent shrugs. When you stumble, they will say, "I saw that coming." When you grieve, they will say, "It happens to everyone." When you suffer, they will say, "You'll be fine," all the while suppressing the pleasure they take in seeing you weak. They will offer no true comfort, no genuine concern, because they have none to give. Their presence does not bring healing, only salt to your wounds. To remain among such people is to allow yourself to be wounded again and again, for as long as they have access to you, they will continue to watch and wait for moments of weakness. They will never offer a helping hand, only a watching eye, and should you ever recover, should you ever stand strong again, they will not celebrate with you. Instead, they will grow restless, eager for the next moment when fortune turns against you. You are nothing to them but a spectacle of suffering, a source of wicked amusement. So why remain where you are mocked instead of mended? Why linger where your pain is cherished instead of consoled? If they delight in your wounds, remove yourself from their sight. Let them be left to their own emptiness, devoid of the satisfaction they once found in your sorrow. Disappear from their view, and you will see how quickly they lose interest. For without your suffering they have nothing to feed upon, nothing to measure themselves against in your absence. They will come to face a truth they avoided, that their joy was never in their own strength, but in your struggles. And if they seek you after you have withdrawn, let them seek in vain. Do not return to those who made a sport of your suffering. Do not offer them the privilege of witnessing your pain, nor the opportunity to disguise their malice beneath false concern. Let them miss the presence they once took for granted. Let them realize too late that they have lost something far greater than they ever knew. For the one who removes himself from the eyes of the cruel finds peace, while those who remain, their spectacle find only deeper wounds. Therefore leave without regret, walk away without explanation, escape their sight, and in your absence let them discover the emptiness of their own hearts. The ones who delighted in your pain do not deserve the sight of your healing. Let them lose the privilege of your presence, for your peace is worth more than their approval. And when you have gone, do not look back, for some people were never meant to witness your restoration. There are people whose presence does not bring warmth but coldness, whose words do not uplift but unsettle, whose company does not refresh but exhausts. Each time you engage with them, you leave not strengthened, but weakened, not encouraged, but troubled. They bring no true counsel, no genuine comfort. Only chaos, only confusion. The weight of their presence lingers long after they have gone, like a dark cloud hanging over your spirit. You sense it in the way your joy diminishes, in the way your heart grows heavy. Their words may not always be cruel, but they are calculated. Their gestures may not always be harsh, but they are draining. They do not merely walk into your life. They invade it, disturbing the very peace you fight so hard to maintain. At first you may excuse it. You may tell yourself that perhaps it is only a misunderstanding, that maybe you are reading too much into things. You may try harder, offering patience, extending grace, giving them the benefit of the doubt. But time proves otherwise. With each encounter the pattern repeats. The conversations leave you weary. The interactions steal your calm. They bring no light, only shadows. No tranquility, only turmoil. You are left wrestling with thoughts that were once at rest, battling anxieties that had already been defeated. It is as if their words and presence plant seeds of discord within you, sprouting doubt, fear, and frustration. Some poison with anger, their tempers unchecked and their words cutting deep. Others poison with deception, twisting truth so subtly that you doubt your own perception. Some bring negativity, draining your spirit with endless complaints and grievances. Others bring manipulation, subtly pulling you into their web of control. And then there are those who are simply reckless with your heart, careless with your emotions, and indifferent to the wounds they inflict. Regardless of the method, the result is the same. Peace is lost, and your soul is left disturbed. You must understand that not every connection is meant to be maintained. There are people you can love from a distance, people you can pray for without allowing them access to your peace. It is not cruelty to walk away, it is wisdom. Your heart was not made to be a battlefield where another wages war against your well-being. Your soul was not created to be a dumping ground for another's toxicity. And your mind was not designed to be a playground for their chaos. There is no virtue in keeping company that slowly destroys you. There comes a time when you must choose yourself, not out of selfishness, but out of necessity. You must recognize that your peace is sacred, that it is a gift too precious to be squandered on those who only come to destroy it. The same way you would not allow poison into your body, do not allow it into your spirit. If someone consistently leaves you drained, if every interaction robs you of rest, if their presence feels more like a storm than a shelter, then you owe it to yourself to walk away. Shut the door. Do not leave it open for them to return and repeat the cycle. They may not understand. They may accuse you of being distant, of being unkind. They may even try to draw you back in with sweet words and false promises of change. But you must remember, peace is not found in their approval, nor is it dependent on their presence. Peace is found in protecting your spirit from that which disturbs it. If their presence was meant to bring harmony, you would not feel exhausted in their wake. If their words were meant to heal, you would not leave their company feeling wounded. Truth is often revealed in how a person makes you feel when they depart. So walk away, and do not feel guilty for choosing peace. It is not your duty to carry the burdens of those who refuse to change. It is not your responsibility to entertain those who refuse to honor your well-being. Love them, but leave them. Forgive them, but move forward. You cannot heal in the same place that made you sick, and you cannot find rest in the presence of those who thrive on disturbance. Therefore shut the door, not with bitterness, but with resolve. Let your silence be your answer. Let your absence be your final word. And in the stillness that follows, embrace the peace that was always meant to be yours. For the ones who truly value you will never be the ones who poison your soul. There are those who will not rejoice when you rise, but instead they will ridicule. When you take a step forward, they will scoff. When you strive for more, they will belittle. Not because your progress is insignificant, but because it unsettles them. Your growth is a mirror that exposes their stagnation, a reminder that they too could change if they were willing. But instead of using your progress as inspiration, they choose to mock it, to downplay your effort, to laugh at your ambition, to treat your transformation as nothing more than a passing foolishness. They will say, "You have changed," but they will not mean it as a compliment. They will say, "You think you are better than us now," but in truth it is their own insecurities speaking. They will remind you of your past, as if your old self disqualifies you from becoming something greater. Their words will be laced with sarcasm, their laughter will carry an edge of bitterness, and their tone will betray the jealousy they refuse to acknowledge. They will not celebrate your victories. They will only search for ways to diminish them. At first you may try to reason with them. You may seek to prove that your growth is genuine, that your transformation is real. You may extend patience, believing that in time they will understand. But the more you explain, the more they mock. The more you defend yourself, the more they twist your words. They are not interested in understanding. They are only interested in maintaining the illusion that you are no better than before. For if they admit that you have grown, they must also admit that they have remained the same. Not everyone will be happy when you rise. Some would rather see you crawl than walk ahead of them. Some will prefer your weakness because it made them feel strong. Some will long for your failures because it kept them from confronting their own. And some will resent your success because it reminds them of the effort they refused to make. To them your growth is not a joy, it is a threat. And so they mock, not because you are wrong, but because they cannot bear to see you right. If you remain in their company, their words will begin to weigh upon you. Their mockery will plant seeds of doubt. Their sneers will echo in your mind. Their scorn will create hesitation where there once was confidence. You will begin to question yourself. Am I really changing? Am I really doing the right thing? Am I becoming proud? But these are not your own thoughts. They are the poison of their ridicule seeping into your soul. And if you are not careful, their words will slow your steps, their laughter will dim your passion, and their disbelief will rob you of the joy you once had. So distance yourself. You do not need the approval of those who mock what they do not understand. You do not need the validation of those who refuse to grow. Walk away from their sneers, and let them laugh in your absence. Let them dismiss you if they must. Let them whisper behind your back. Let them claim that you have become distant. It is better to walk alone in growth than to remain in a crowd that despises your progress. It is better to be misunderstood in pursuit of greatness than to be accepted in mediocrity. And do not look back, for those who mock you today will marvel at you tomorrow. The same ones who ridiculed your journey will one day wonder how you arrived at your destination. The same voices that called you foolish will one day call you wise. But by then it will not be their words that define you. It will be the fruit of your growth, the evidence of your transformation. For those who truly care about you will not mock your growth. They will encourage it. They will celebrate your progress, even when it surpasses their own. They will rejoice in your transformation, even when it challenges them to do the same. And if you must choose between the approval of those who sneer and the pursuit of something greater, choose growth, choose wisdom, choose progress. Let them laugh, let them scoff, let them say what they will. Their words will not change your path, nor will their mockery undo your effort. The only failure is to remain the same, and the only defeat is to stop growing because others cannot bear to see it. So, go forth. Grow in silence, thrive in solitude if you must, and let your progress be louder than their laughter. For in the end the greatest response to mockery is not argument, but undeniable transformation. There are people who grow so accustomed to your presence that they begin to take it for granted. They treat your loyalty as an obligation, not a gift. They do not cherish your kindness, nor do they value your time. No matter how much you give, they receive it as though it is their right. No matter how patient you are, they show no concern for your weariness. They believe that you will always be there, no matter how carelessly they treat you. To them your presence is a convenience, not a blessing. At first you may excuse their indifference. You may tell yourself that they are simply distracted, that they do not mean to be so thoughtless. You may even lower your expectations, learning to live with the disappointment of being unappreciated. But deep down you feel the emptiness of being around someone who does not see your worth. The conversations become shallow, the interactions become routine, and you realize that they do not treasure you. They merely tolerate you. Love should never be sustained by obligation alone. Affection should never be a one-sided effort. If someone truly values you, they will show it, not just in words, but in actions. They will fear losing you, not in a desperate or possessive way, but in a way that reflects the depth of their care. They will make an effort to nurture the relationship, not just receive from it. But if a person can go days, weeks, or even months without considering your worth, then they have already revealed how little they fear your absence. It is a dangerous thing when someone believes you will never leave, no matter how they treat you. When they assume that your patience is endless, they stop putting in effort. When they believe you will endure all things without complaint, they stop showing appreciation. It is in this false security that they grow careless, speaking without thought, acting without concern, neglecting without guilt, and the longer you stay, the more they believe they are right, that you will always remain, no matter how much they disregard you. But there comes a time when silence speaks louder than words, and distance teaches lessons that presence never could. When someone acts as though your presence is worthless, grant them the reality of your absence. Walk away, not to punish them, but to protect yourself. Withdraw, not to be cruel, but to reclaim your dignity. Let them feel the void of your absence, the quiet where your voice used to be, the emptiness where your presence once filled the space. Let them sit in the stillness of what they once ignored. You will find that some will not even notice your departure at first. They have grown so used to your presence that they assume you will return. But as time passes, they will begin to feel the weight of what they lost. The messages will slow, the conversations will cease, and the warmth you once brought will fade. It is then that they will realize, perhaps too late, that they were never entitled to you. Some will grow bitter, blaming you for leaving, rather than admitting their own negligence. Others will pretend not to care, masking their regret with indifference. But a few, the ones with even a trace of wisdom, will awaken to the truth. They will see that their pride led them to believe a lie, that they could treat you carelessly and still expect you to stay, and in that moment they will understand what they should have feared all along, that nothing in this life is guaranteed, not even the presence of those who once loved them deeply. And you, having stepped away from those who refuse to value you, will find peace in the silence. You will realize that you were never asking for too much. You were simply asking the wrong people. You will see that your worth was never determined by their appreciation, nor was your presence meant to be wasted on those who did not cherish it. You will walk forward, not with bitterness, but with clarity, knowing that those who truly love you will never need to be reminded to treasure you. So do not hesitate to leave when your presence is taken for granted. Do not remain where you are merely tolerated rather than cherished. Do not cling to those who have no fear of losing you. Give them what they believe to be true, your absence. And in doing so you will free yourself to be with those who never needed to lose you to appreciate you.